All right, guys, I wanted to welcome everybody out to our first of hopefully many of the Real South mastermind training classes. And Real South is the name of my podcast, Real South Agents Podcast. I'll be kind of sharing a slide on that as well. But my hope through this training is that you can find ways to connect with other real agents around the state of Louisiana and around the country, because the virtual world can be amazing, right? But if you unless you truly embrace the network, the processes, the platforms that are already built for you, like, you can't find success. So I know that once you kind of plug in to a lot of awesome things, which I've been able to do in the last year and a half to the brokerage, I know that you're going to find your tribe of people that are really going to vibe with you, and you'll find that those people that kind of are going to live life with you in the virtual world. And I love what Sharon says is he says, I'm here in service of you. So that's what my mindset is with agents that I'm helping and leading and teaching, is that, hey, I'm here for you. I'm here for anything that you need me for. I've been in the business for over 20 years. I sold 52 properties last year. But I've got a renewed energy in the business. I am so fired up, and I'm boiling over with excitement for the opportunity of our company. And I was hoping that I could kind of share a little bit of that excitement that I have for the business with you guys, so that you can, I guess, make connections and find ways that you can grow, learn, develop, train other agents, and of course, make more money in our business. So that's the goal. And really, I'm here to kind of help spark a fire in your business, and something that, just showing you how to plug in, right, to what we already have and the awesome things that we already have here at our company. So when the fire is burning hot, I always say, grab a candle, baby, because we're going to get rolling. So look, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to look at a couple of slides that I have prepared. Let's see here, one second. All right, so let me jump on present. Okay, hang on, one slide back. All right, yeah, so the goal today is just essentially how we're going to get plugged in Louisiana. So one of the ways, and it's a shameless plug, but I'm going to start there, is I do a podcast called Real South Agents. And Real South Agents started with basically just a desire to connect with top agents around Louisiana. I interviewed a few of our people here locally in Lafayette. I've expanded out to Baton Rouge and other markets, and now I'm even further expanding out to the South. Like last week's podcast, I did Katie Day in Houston, Texas, and she's totally awesome. So I launch a podcast every Monday morning at 5 a.m. So if you guys want to tune in on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and or any other podcast platforms, that's a great way for you to start your week and listen to a top producer who is sharing nothing but valuable nuggets and exact processes and systems on how they've built their business. So tons of value. And my goal when I reach out to these agents is, hey, I don't want any fluff. I don't want anything crazy. I just want massive value on the podcast. So that's a shameless plug, but I'm going to start there. So the best thing I think that we have is in our toolbox at Real is, of course, Real Academy. Now, for a lot of agents who are newer or don't know what Real Academy is Real Academy is basically elite agents who've achieved the elite status, and they are teaching in the academy, and they are pouring their hearts and souls out to other agents in hopes that they can help them grow their business. The reason they do that is because they do get a stock option of like an $8,000 stock bonus that would allow them to teach once a month in Real Academy. I will be putting out some sessions in Real Academy as well, but this is the best tool I think that we have in our toolbox. And what's going to happen is you're going to find people that you really like and you vibe with, and then you're going to follow them on Real Academy, and you're going to follow their monthly sessions. Some of them are putting out a lot of content on there. Katie Day is one. She's doing nothing but content about Instagram, YouTube. Jeremy Knight is another guy that I follow, and he's putting out tons of content about YouTube and all of those things. But in Real Academy, they have everything from, how to increase your Google business profile to, what to do if you're a new agent, how you love and nurture on your past clients. So all of those things. So realtors, this is the best tool that we have. And I am constantly in Real Academy because there's so much value in that platform. This is a little bit of a screenshot of the breakdown of some of the things and how it looks in Real Academy. But I encourage new agents for sure to get in there and start the process of learning and your journey, and let that be part of your weekly schedule to grab a new class, to get on these live Zoom calls with these top agents. They love when you get on there and ask them questions. So being able to ask a producer who's in a different market, who's doing millions of dollars a year in GCI, and be able to be on a live Zoom call with that person has a ton of value. And I'm the type where I'm just, hey man, what about this? What about that? I've been on a few Zooms recently where they actually came and they edited my whole social media platform and gave me tips and strategies and live on the Zoom call, which was hugely valuable. I didn't pay a single thing for that. So that's the best thing that we have at our fingertips. The other, I think, nice tool, which doesn't get used enough, is WorkVivo. And WorkVivo is basically our internal social media network. It's similar to Facebook, and we were on Facebook, but I think because of some recent changes, we had to get away from Facebook. But this WorkVivo is awesome. So, you can jump in there and see what's happening, the trainings, the classes, things that people are putting on. They're posting, hey, I'm going live talking about Instagram, or I'm going live talking about YouTube. And you can see like the calendar of what's happening at our brokerage on WorkVivo. But also we have our WorkVivo for Louisiana. So what's nice about this is, Dale could post something, hey, I've got this property in Baton Rouge, and I might see it and maybe send him a buyer, so it's just a great way to communicate. Or, hey, I'm having this trouble. It's just a great way for us to communicate. But also too, Wendy posts updates and different things as far as like things you want to watch out for, things people are getting fined for, things that people are making mistakes on. And just so that, look, I'm a big fan of learning from people's mistakes rather than making the mistake myself and getting fined for it. So that's a great space to kind of just check in every once in a while with that and see what's happening in Louisiana. She'll also usually post the times for some of her, she does also a Zoom training. So I would say definitely follow that page for sure. This is another thing that Wendy told me about, which I was like, I didn't even really know that this was available to us. At the national conference I went to in Vegas, they talked about this Referral Central, and this is actually improving as we speak. But what's nice is if you have a referral, in New York City, you're saying, hey, looking for a great agent in New York City, comment right there. And then people will comment that they're interested in potentially picking it up, or they can give a little background on themselves and why they might be a great referral source. So this would be a great space to, when you get a referral, that you post it there. Referrals are amazing. And I think as realtors, we don't think about referrals enough, and they really make a difference. I mean, this week alone, I cashed a $10,800 check from a commercial agent that I just referred some business to. He closed a $1.8 million property, and I got a 20% referral on that deal, which was great. I mean, he showed up, he's like, man, I got a check for him. Like, for what? He's like, man, you forgot you referred this guy to me, and closed a $1.8 million property. So again, guys, if you're thinking you got people moving, especially markets like Baton Rouge, where it's kind of, you got people moving in, moving out, referrals are the lifeblood of that's a tool that we do not use enough. And I promise you that will pay for your trip to Disneyland or Disney World this year if you just use referrals, or think about it when you have people who are moving to another state. But this is a great place to start when you're like, hey, I don't know where, I need a referral, like put it there first and then start the process of finding the right agent. Here's a great way to connect here. We have our local here in Lafayette. We have the DSX Real Facebook page. And this is where we go live with our weekly meetings. So if you're part of our group, I guess here locally in Lafayette, join this group, because we constantly post, hey, open house opportunity this weekend, or hey, I've got this referral opportunity that I'm trying to pass out in Lafayette, commercial opportunity or land that I don't want to list. So I'm passing out a lot of these opportunities here. That's a great page to go to and check out for sure. Another one is the Real Louisiana Facebook page. And again, that's where Wendy will post her classes that she's doing. And it's a great spot to connect with real agents across the state of Louisiana. That's how a lot of you guys are on this Zoom call, is because you saw my post on the Real Louisiana Agents page. So also one thing too is invite your new agents that come into your network to this page. So a lot of times I'll have agents like, man, I didn't even know, like, that aren't in my network. They'll ask me, I didn't even know we had these pages, and nobody invited them to this page. So when you add a new agent into your world, into your network, make sure you invite them to those specific pages. If you're in Lafayette or the Acadiana area, invite them to the DSX. And if you're anywhere else in Louisiana, definitely invite them to this Louisiana page because it's got some great info. We do in-person office meetings every Wednesday at 9:30 at our office here in Lafayette. So we also broadcast again that on the DSX Real Facebook page. And that's a great way to stay connected if you're not having the office meeting type scenario, that you can have this feeling, even if you're not available to come in person, you can make the connections and you can be a part of those office meetings. And you don't have to be in the District South group. You just have to be at Real Broker. And I think really these meetings are probably more impactful for agents who are in Lafayette, because a lot of our content and stuff and our conversations have to do with Lafayette. But there is some value in joining these pages for agents who are not in the Lafayette market. For instance, I taught about 2 or 3 weeks ago on serving your sphere and using automation. So that was a great class that we did in person. And you could see we had a jam-packed house in there of about 50 agents intact. We're going to be doing new agent trainings, and this is coming very soon. And it'll be in-person trainings. And we don't have the exact dates on that or times on that. So I had to put a cute little baby with sunglasses because I didn't have a picture of that. But that is definitely something that's on our radar. And we're getting a few of the top agents in Lafayette to commit to training other agents in person on basic things on how you grow your business. Even realtors who've been in the business 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, it's going to be valuable, because depending on where you came from, you may not have had really high quality training. And that's the goal, is to basically take it down to basics and show you guys how exactly to sell real estate. So that's going to be a great thing that we have coming up, and that we're going to keep everybody updated on the Louisiana Facebook page and on the DSX Facebook page. So we're going to be getting that cranked up real soon. Every Friday morning at our office, we do what we call warm call sessions. Okay. And these are live calls on Friday, and different agents are coming in and they have different goals and hopes and things that they're trying to do for their call sessions. A common thing that we do is call around an open house, let sellers know that we're doing an open house, contacting them, inviting them to the open house. So that's Friday mornings in person at our office on, right here in Lafayette. So that's something that we do every Friday at 10 a.m. That's a standing thing. So, after this, we'll have agents who are going to be making calls and generating leads. Even if you're coming out here and calling your client base, you can do this same mindset and put this in your calendar, even if you're not in Lafayette. Making phone calls is the one thing that can drastically change your business. And it's the one reason why 81% of all my transaction I closed in 2024 was from my sphere of influence. So I use the phone to contact my sphere, but that's what we're doing Fridays at 10 a.m. So this is another one of those classes that is not a real specific related thing. I am followed him on Real Academy, followed both of these guys in Real Academy. And Jeremy Knight is a realtor from Austin, Texas, who generates multi-million dollars worth of real estate from YouTube in the Austin market. He has 30,000 followers plus on his YouTube channel, and he hosts a weekly Zoom at 10 a.m. on Thursday mornings. And this is great. Like, you got guys from around and girls from around the country that are literally like, check this out. This is what I'm doing. This is this unique strategy that I'm doing on Instagram, and it's working and it's generating me leads. So definitely get plugged into that. But what's awesome about our company is Tim Macy and Katie Day also do another one of these classes. So if you like those people, vibe with them, get in on their weekly calls, weekly Zoom sessions that they're doing. Theirs is more like on social media and growth in that scenario. Put that in your calendar. If it's in the morning, I have this sitting on my calendar every week at 11 a.m. on Thursdays. And it's great because you get to turn your mic on at the end of the thing and ask these guys a question and say, hey, what about this? I'm thinking about doing home tours. What would you do? Or I'm thinking about doing this kind of content. What would you do with that? How would you market it? Would you put these two kinds of content together, or would you make your own page? So these guys are awesome. So a lot of people don't even know about stuff like this that we have going on in our brokerage, and they put it out on social media, but you don't even know sometimes that this is available to you. So tap into what's already here at the brokerage instead of searching for opportunities on your own, because these people are here to grow their business. And Jeremy Knight has 5,000 plus agents at Real. So they're talking about, we are always talking about ways that we can grow the company, be more to agents, give more to agents. So that's a great thing to be a part of. But find your tribe. Real Connect. This is the national monthly Zoom call, and this is either the first or second Wednesday of the month. This is Sharon leads it, or I'm not sure who'll be leading it this month, but you've got the top people at Real Broker leading this call. You've got Pratesh, who's our basically our CTO, or the technology officer, and he's talking about all these great new upgrades to Rezen, or Tamir will come in and talk about something new coming up that they're doing, or some awards that they've given out. They talk about the real elite agents there. So it's a great call, but it's usually something of value. It's not just another meeting that you got to go and check a box. It's literally people pouring their knowledge into you, and they normally have a guest speaker that comes in and like delivers some awesome insight or content. So I always try to go to those meetings. It's fun to be a part of that, because as a national brokerage and as a cloud-based brokerage, we don't have the connection sometimes in person. So if you're not doing these office meetings, if you don't have a physical office, try to get involved in all these things, and that way you can feel like you're connected to the company. But that's a great way to feel connected to the company. Same thing, Louisiana Real does a connect, and that is the first Tuesday of the month, and that's something that Wendy puts out. And look, it's not just some boring meeting. She's coming up with some interesting topic to share, either something that changed in our agreements, or something that she saw that was an issue that here's the solution to. So that's a great way to connect with Louisiana agents. I try to attend those as much as I can as well. So those are awesome. So plug into that. This is a conference coming up with Real as well. It's called Real X, and it's I'm not sure if it's the first one, but I didn't know if I had gone to the one last year, but it's a virtual conference, and this is a free deal. This is, and I'm not sure if my screen is blocking it, but it's Wednesday, May 14th at 11 a.m. Central. And this is going to be, anything that Real does is top notch, and it's going to be well done and well produced. But this one is going to be on marketing. So that's going to be a great class for you guys to attend, and it's free. I registered this morning at 4 a.m. when I was thinking about putting all this stuff together, and it's a great, that's going to be a great class for sure. So, and I think this is our last thing we're talking about, but the Real Rise Conference. I went last year in Vegas, and I know some of you guys that have been at Real for a long time have probably gone to a national conference. This conference is different than I've ever been to before. I've been to a ton of different national conferences, but Real Rise is absolutely phenomenal. They got such great energy, so many amazing guest speakers, so many people that come to this thing from around the country that you get to kind of network with, rub shoulders with. I recorded a bunch of podcasts with last year, but just being in the same room as those people, like, you're going to grow. You know, my whole commitment to video came from last year's Real Rise Conference. That is in Orlando, Florida, November 3rd through 5th. It's a great opportunity for you to go and, you know, bring the family. You know, I'm pretty sure this conference, just being in Orlando, is going to cost me an extra $7,000. I'm sure having to go to Disney and all that stuff, because my wife's a Disney fanatic. So thank you, Real, for costing me more money. But I'm definitely going to go to that conference. So yeah, guys. Yeah, that was the last slide. So thank you guys so much for joining in. And I am here to encourage and support you guys. My hope is that I can do more of a weekly, or I might start with bi-weekly meetings on Friday mornings, which you guys are all be invited to. And also we can invite other agents from other networks into those meetings. But my thoughts is to do things and bring hosts in on Friday mornings, probably around 9 or 9:30 every Friday or every other Friday, and get that out on Zoom so that we can share some of what we're doing as top agents with other agents and help them grow their business. You know, for me, I think my next real mastermind is going to be on my weekly email. I've been able to send weekly emails for the past few years, and that is one of the main drivers of my business. That is the one consistent thing that I do weekly to grow my business. I've got between a 48 and 50% open rate with thousands of people who read my weekly email. So they're calling me, you know, and that's a great way to grow your business. So that'll be the next mastermind potentially that I'm going to be putting out. But I wanted to, instead of, you know, just doing this presentation and going over this thing with multiple new agents that have just come into the company, was just offer them, hey, this is what we got going on. This is what's happening at our company. Don't miss anything. Get plugged in, because the last thing I want to hear is an agent say, I didn't know that was an opportunity, or I didn't know that was there for me, or I didn't know I could do this, or I could do that, or anything else. So happy to help you guys, here in service of you. So please let me know if I can ever do anything for you guys. Does anyone have any questions on any of the events, or something that I can provide some clarity on? Or if Wendy's also on the call, I think too, you know, if you want to jump on and chime in a little bit too, feel welcome.